The senators await your return at Steel Hall. When you tell them you have defeated the primal, they demand you give them the card. Why? You ask, not liking their tone. We're declaring war on the neighboring town, they tell you. The primal's power will ensure our victory. Fighting beasts is hard enough, and now they want to fight other humans? I'm keeping the card, you say decisively. One of the men then turns to the boy and shouts, "Get that card." As ordered, the boy pushes you and takes the steel primal's card. When you try to take the card back, he pushes you once more. "What are you doing?" one of the senators roars. "Give me that card this instant." He approaches the boy, and then... The senators, taken aback, demand to know what the boy is doing. "Getting revenge," he answers with a twisted grin. "Did you forget who took you in, you fool?" one senator demands fiercely. The boy spits and glares at the men. So he's getting revenge for the horrible things the senators have done to him. "I'm a human being," he shouts, before killing every last one of them. At your shocked expression, the boy says, "They didn't deserve to live." He explains that the primal only became enraged after the senators attempted to claim its power. He also tells you that it was those same senators that sent the monsters to your village. I see. It was all a ploy to get the Subterran's power to control monsters. Faced with the truth, you find yourself at a loss for words. "People will come after us. Let's go," he says, then pulls you along. "We'll take a sand skiff and flee," he tells you. He claims there are plenty of them in Steelborough. Even fleeing requires preparation. You keep an eye out for your pursuers and enter as calmly as possible. Just as the boy said, there are several sand skiffs at the entrance. "Let's take one. Hurry," he says, running toward the boats. You scramble after him. Before you can board the boat, you stumble. "What are you doing?" the boy demands. Though his tone is harsh, he helps you up. Just then, guards from the city catch up to you and attack. "Destroy the other boats so they can't come after us," he instructs. You summon the steel primal, who easily crushes all the sand skiffs. They are squashed flat. This is the only vessel that can still move. Let's go. You and the boy board the boat, then make your way out of town. According to the boy, these boats can traverse quicksand, which is impossible on foot. Meaning, if you can get across some, your pursuers won't be able to follow. There's a large swath of it to the east. We'll lose them there, he says. Get him. You plunge the sand skiff over the quicksand, then cautiously look around. It seems you've managed to shake your pursuers. The boy returns the steel primal card to you. "I'm sorry for using it," he says. You take the card back from him. What do we do now? You whisper. You've both gotten your revenge. Neither of you had any plans beyond that. He turns to you and asks, "Isn't there anything you want to do?" "How about you?" you question back. The boy gives a somewhat sad laugh. You place your hand to your chest and wonder what you want to do. You suddenly remember the dream you confessed to your plush animal. "I want to see the stars," you say. It's been your dream since you were young. The boy nods. "I'll show you the most beautiful stars in the world," he says, then extends a hand to you. You take it. You both realize you haven't introduced yourselves yet and share a laugh. "Le goal," he says. "Where your journey to avenge your village ends, a new one with Le goal begins." Several days after you escape Steelborough, Le goal helps you row aimlessly through the desert. Either one of you is liable to pass out at any moment. The sand skiff you stole as you fled the city has proven handy for getting around. But there isn't a scrap of food nor a drop of water aboard. You probably should have had more of a plan, you think to yourself. The two of you row in complete silence. You fear if you make so much as a peep, the sheer effort involved will cause you to collapse. You propel the boat forward with all your might, when suddenly, a patch of quicksand swallows your sand skiff whole. Where are we? You look around, trying to figure out where the quicksand has spit you out. At the very least, your tight grip on the boat has prevented you from getting separated from Le goal. But In a desert this vast and empty, there's no telling how far the quicksand might have taken you. We better find some water, Legol grumbles, shaking sand out of every possible crevice. His comment snaps you out of your bewilderment. You nod at him and begin searching your surroundings for potable water. Unfortunately, your legs are less cooperative. They may as well be made of lead. You're so thirsty, even the act of breathing feels painful. The sun's rays beat down upon you. It's so hot. You need water. Your head is killing you. You open the treasure chest to find a bottle glimmering in the sunlight. You snatch it up, but it's empty. Legol's shoulders drop in unison with yours. You lift your head. There before you, impossibly, walks Ram, your plush animal. No. You shake your head. That isn't real. As consciousness threatens to forsake you, you catch sight of a young man. You've come at a very good time, he chirps. Ah, so you seek the compound formed from hydrogen and oxygen, he says excitedly, launching into the beginning of a very long speech. His words flow as quickly as the quicksand that brought you here. Legol musters every last ounce of his strength to try and interrupt the torrent of babble, when suddenly a monster's cry issues from behind the youth. You see, I was about to be attacked by foul beasts, the youth says, beaming. Yes, you've come at a very good time indeed, he chirps again, which must be his way of asking for your help. You certainly haven't the strength to escape. Looks like you're in for a fight. Battle time. Calling upon the steel primal helped you fell the monsters. But before you can catch your breath, what on earth was that? The youth says, rushing up behind you from his vantage point for the battle. He peppers you with questions and comments in his breathless style. That was the steel primal, wasn't it? The fact that you can control it means you're one of the fabled subterrans. You are, aren't you? I had no idea you actually existed. Well, if today isn't my lucky day, if you don't mind my asking, how do you control that beast? I have deduced that the card you're holding there is the key to controlling them, but beyond that, Ugh. Whew, this guy sure can talk. He pays your pained expression no mind as he carries on, finally realizing that he has yet to introduce himself. The young man's name is Polka, and he's on a long, winding journey in pursuit of monsters to study. As if you hadn't heard enough, he asks if you'd like to hear an explanation about the primals. You make another desperate plea for water. Polka, however, hasn't even done you the courtesy of waiting for an answer. He's already chattering away about the primals. There are 3 kinds, he tells you at breakneck speed. In addition to the steel primal, there exists a fire primal and a frost primal. And all are powerful enough to cause changes in their natural environment because of reasons. Unfortunately, your fevered brain can parse no more of his blathering. Look, we helped you, so give us some water already, Ligol barks, clearly out of patience. Finally, Polka closes his mouth for the first time since you've met. He looks rather contrite, for he, too, has no water on his person. You stare at him, speechless. You know, I'm actually rather thirsty, he says, and collapses into the sand. Clearly, his was a thirst brought on by incessant blabbering rather than fleeing from monsters. You both look at Polka's crumpled form, and then at one another. Mind and body pushed well beyond their limits, the two of you finally surrender to sweet, sweet unconsciousness. You awaken to find yourself lying down inside a tent. Startled, you leap to your feet. Well, you seem much better, a woman says sweetly as she enters. She says she found the 3 of you collapsed in the desert and nursed you back to health. You thank her and quickly ask where she's taken Ligol. She tells you Ligol woke up not long before. He and Polka are at a stall outside. You exit the tent to find several more lined up before you. It looks like you've been picked up by a caravan. You arrive at the stall to find Ligol and Polka devouring food as if it were a competition. You heave a sigh of relief upon seeing them alive and well. Ligol notices you as he reaches for a bit of food. He stays his hand and instead beckons you over. Get in on this, he says between bites. You approach the table, casually lift up a plate bearing a mountain of food, and proceed to tilt the entire platter toward your mouth. Having eaten and drank your fill, you offer thanks for the meal. According to Legol and Polka, a stout man treated them to their meal at the stall earlier. You find the man hurrying about busily and thank him for the meal. "Ah, you're all awake," he says with a satisfied nod. He introduces himself as the circus's ringmaster and explains that they're on a tour of the desert. As someone fascinated by the circus, you'd always wanted to talk with a ringmaster. It's your lucky day. Before you speak so much as a syllable, the caravan is beset by monsters. You all draw your weapons and prepare for a fight. Polka barges into battle unannounced. "I too shall fight," he proclaims. Legol asks if he can fight, to which Polka replies that it comes with the territory when one studies monsters. You're in for a world of hurt if you underestimate science, because science makes medicine, and you shouldn't underestimate that, Polka rambles, drawing his weapon. You take up arms shoulder to shoulder with Polka and prepare to fight. The ringmaster thanks you profusely for defeating the monsters. It seems the countless monster attacks are to blame for scattering his troop to the winds. He's at a loss for what to do. You notice, however, that the number of sighs he's peppered his story with feels very intentional. He looks your way rather bashfully. You suspect he wants your help. "Of course we'll help you," Polka blurts out before you can answer. "But the three of you expect fair compensation for the effort," he adds slyly. Polka turns to you and Legol, grinning from ear to ear. "Let's get going," he chirps excitedly. Did you misunderstand him? You replay the conversation in your head. Alas, no. It seems you understood perfectly. And just like that, you and Legol have been roped into helping too. Legol objects, only to be drowned out by Polka's contemporaneous rebuttal, a treatise on the value of money and friendship in travel. And so it goes that you, Legol, and Polka end up combing the desert for lost circus troopers. What can I help you with? The shopkeep asks. To battle. To battle. Beautiful. Something catches the light in the sand. You pull it loose, revealing a somewhat tarnished bangle. That might be the bangle capable of freeing the sand prowler czar, Polka blurts out. Well, legend has it that the sand prowler czar is sealed in the sand ruins, Polka explains. To hear Polka tell it, the sand prowler czar was a monster that once ruled this region through fear and despair. And he's careful to note that some monsters still revere this czar. If Polka's telling the truth, then you're holding something pretty dangerous. You're not interested in any czars, sand prowling or otherwise. You rear back and hurl it into the distance with all your might. Onward. Battle time. Sorry, throat's a bit dry. You happen upon a tent pitched in front of some ruins. Might there be another performer within? You peer inside. Why, yes, the young girl you see before you may well be one of the performers, but she's rather tearful at the moment. Are you with the circus? Polka asks gently. The girl nods. Yes, beast tamer, circus, she says through her tears, before begging for your help. Wading through the fragmented words, you gather that a monster swallowed her performing partner and ran off. She goes on to lament that this is all her fault, as sobs rack her body anew. We have to help her, Polka says softly. He declares that he cannot abide turning away from someone who's been separated from someone they care for. You're inclined to agree with him. So long as there are lives to be saved, you'll fight to save them. Are you okay? Ligol asks carefully, sensing that you're in pain. You nod and begin walking toward the ruins. To battle. A masterful victory! I expected nothing less. I expected nothing. Battle time. Get him. Wait a minute, Polka says suddenly. He begins tapping on the wall in several places, listening intently as he does so. "There's nothing behind this wall," he says, pointing at one section of it. Not one to wait for permission, Legol strikes the section of wall with all his might. And what do you know? Polka was right. The wall concealed a hidden chamber. "That's a scientist for you," Polka boasts, puffing out his chest. "Science is awesome," you reply, jaw slack with wonder. Get him! Beautiful! Get him! Get him. Battle time.